The Galactic Council gathered in a grand hall, a kaleidoscope of alien species filling the chamber. The topic for debate? Earth's entry into the Intergalactic Alliance. What puzzled the Council most was humanity's strange behavior. Unlike most species, they had no history of seeking conquest, no interest in war, no displays of aggressive expansion. For a group that judged strength by military might, Earth's peaceful demeanor was a mystery. The humans are terrified of conflict, one alien delegate sneered. His scales shimmered in the Council's artificial light, his fangs flashing in a grin that reeked of superiority. Look at them, so fragile, so afraid of getting their hands dirty. Another joined in, their tentacles twitching in mockery. They've avoided every opportunity for combat. I doubt they've ever fought a true war. Laughter rippled through the hall. Many species in the Council had long histories of violent conquest, their status cemented through countless battles. The idea that humans, a species with no apparent military inclination, could be considered equals was absurd to them. They're soft, a large, armored warrior muttered, his voice a rumbling growl. Their fear of war is weakness, nothing more. They don't belong in this council. Yet, amid the scoffs and laughter, a few voices remained quiet, observing rather than mocking. One council member, an elder with centuries of experience, narrowed her eyes. Is it fear? Or do they see war differently than we do? Her words were met with silence. For the others, the thought seemed almost laughable. Humans, seeing war differently? Impossible. Still, her question lingered, unspoken by most, but quietly echoed by a few. The debate continued, but beneath the surface, something was shifting. Some had begun to wonder if Earth's avoidance of war wasn't rooted in fear but something more deliberate. Could it be that humans, rather than being cowards, were simply choosing peace for reasons no one understood? Could they be holding back? The council members who considered this possibility said nothing for now, letting the louder voices dominate. But they couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that the humans might not be as simple as they appeared. For now, though, most of the Galactic Council dismissed these notions as nonsense, laughing once more at the thought of humans being anything other than weak, fearful beings. Little did they know, they would soon learn just how wrong they were. The Kajuan Empire's reputation was legendary, an unstoppable force, merciless and brutal, leaving destruction in their wake across the galaxy. Wherever they went, civilizations crumbled, their people enslaved or wiped out entirely. They were a race built on conquest, their only goal to dominate every planet they encountered. For generations, they had been a source of fear, and now their sights were set on Earth. Without warning, the Kajuan made their intentions clear. Earth was next. A transmission crackled across the galaxy, proclaiming their invasion plans. They laughed at the thought of taking Earth, scoffing at the humans' so-called fear of war. In their eyes, Earth was nothing but an easy conquest, another weak planet to add to their growing empire. There would be no negotiations, no diplomacy. To the Kajuan, there was no need. When the Galactic Council received word of the invasion, chaos erupted. Many species feared the Kajuan, knowing well the devastation they were capable of. Earth, with its untested defenses and presumed fear of war, stood no chance in their eyes. Council members whispered in panic, some already mourning humanity's inevitable defeat. Earth will fall, one council member declared, his voice heavy with resignation. There's no way they can stand against the Kajuan. Another chimed in, we warned them. They should have prepared for war. This is the consequence of their pacifism. Amid the turmoil, the human delegation stood unfazed. While the council members erupted in fear and doubt, the humans did not flinch. They listened quietly, their faces calm, showing no signs of worry. Earth will handle it, a human diplomat finally spoke, his voice steady. The council members turned to him, expecting panic or desperate pleas for assistance. But there were none. Instead, there was only quiet confidence. The aliens were baffled. How could the humans remain so calm in the face of certain doom? The Kajuan were a force no one survived, and yet, these humans acted as though it were just another day. What could they possibly be thinking? An alien muttered, unable to comprehend the humans' lack of fear. No one could understand it. To the Galactic Council, the humans' response seemed either deeply naive or staggeringly arrogant. They couldn't decide which was worse. Yet despite their disbelief, the Council could do nothing but wait and see. Earth was on its own, and for better or worse, the humans were about to face the galaxy's most feared enemy. The outcome seemed obvious to the Council. Humanity had sealed its fate. Or so they thought. As the threat loomed, Earth moved swiftly but silently. There was no fanfare, no loud declarations of war, just the quiet efficiency of a planet that had been preparing for something like this all along. Governments united in a coordinated effort, and military forces were mobilized without chaos or confusion. The entire planet seemed to know exactly what needed to be done, as if humanity had been waiting for this moment. Unlike other races that would respond with brute force or panic, humans took a different approach. Strategy, not raw power, was their weapon. The Kajuan believed they would face a primitive species with little to no means of defense. What they didn't know was that Earth had been advancing its technology in ways the galaxy couldn't even imagine. For years, humans had developed systems far beyond what they let on, cloaked ships capable of bypassing enemy scanners, AI-driven defense systems that could predict attacks with precision, and orbital platforms armed with devastating weaponry. Humanity didn't rush into war with bloodlust, as the Kajuan had expected. Instead, they analyzed, adapted, and quietly began positioning themselves for a fight that would be on their terms. Earth's military strategies, deeply rooted in centuries of conflict, weren't about overwhelming force but precision and efficiency. Every move was calculated, every action purposeful. Back at the Galactic Council, reports of Earth's preparations trickled in. What started as whispers of confusion soon turned into murmurs of disbelief. The calm, measured response of humanity had baffled them from the start, but now it was something more. The Council watched as humanity transformed from what they believed to be a defenseless species into something entirely different. "How did we miss this?" one Council member asked, staring at a holographic display of Earth's military movements. Fleet formations, ground forces, and defense systems were all coordinated with a precision that surpassed many seasoned galactic powers. "They've had this technology for years," another alien muttered, their voice tinged with shock. "They were hiding it. All of it." As more reports came in, the Galactic Council's initial mockery of humanity turned to unease. It was no longer a question of whether Earth would put up a fight, but how long the Kajuan could withstand what they were about to face. Humanity had played their cards close to the chest, revealing nothing until it mattered most. For some Council members, the realization began to sink in: they had underestimated humanity on a massive scale. Earth wasn't avoiding war out of fear. They had simply mastered the art of restraint, saving their true capabilities for when they were needed most. The Kajuan thought they were walking into an easy victory, but what awaited them was far from what they expected. The Kajuan fleet arrived in Earth's orbit, their massive warships blotting out the stars. They were confident, as always, in their sheer numbers and firepower. Earth, they believed, would be another swift conquest. Their invasion began with a coordinated strike, their ships unleashing devastating energy blasts towards the planet's surface, expecting little resistance. But then, something they hadn't anticipated happened. Earth's orbital defenses, hidden from view, activated in perfect synchronization. The sky lit up as a network of cloaked satellites and platforms opened fire, targeting the Kajuan fleet with deadly precision. Powerful beams lanced through the blackness of space, ripping through the Kajuan ships before they could react. The first wave of the invaders didn't stand a chance. Their ships, caught off guard, exploded in quick succession. The Kajuan were stunned. They had expected a weak, easy target. Instead, they were met with an invisible enemy. As more human defense systems came online, the Kajuan commanders scrambled to adjust. But humanity was ready. Using cloaked ships and advanced AI targeting, Earth's forces dismantled the Kajuan fleet piece by piece. The Kajuan, who relied on brute strength, had no counter for the precision and strategy humans employed. Their sheer numbers meant nothing when they couldn't see or anticipate their enemies' movements. On the surface, the battle was just as intense. The Kajuan had deployed ground forces, assuming they would overwhelm human defenses with their raw power. But Earth's soldiers were not fighting alone. Autonomous war machines, sleek and deadly, moved with an efficiency the Kajuan had never seen. Human soldiers coordinated their strikes with AI-driven units, outmaneuvering the Kajuan's brute force with superior tactics. Where the Kajuan fought with rage, humans fought with control, adapting to every move their enemy made. The Galactic Council watched in stunned silence. They had expected to witness Earth's swift defeat, yet what they saw was nothing short of a masterclass in warfare. Human forces moved with incredible coordination, each strike precise, each defense impenetrable. The Kajuan, who had spent centuries dominating other species, were losing. The council members who had mocked humanity days before were now left speechless. How are they doing this?" one council member whispered, their voice trembling in disbelief. "They've outmaneuvered the Kajuan at every turn," another said, eyes wide as they watched the battle unfold. "It's like they've been preparing for this their entire existence." For every Kajuan attack, the humans had a counter. Their strategies weren't about overwhelming their enemy but breaking them down piece by piece. Every Kajuan ship destroyed, every ground unit neutralized, pushed the invaders further into retreat. The Kajuan, so used to swift victories, were now forced into a fight they didn't understand. And then, the tide fully turned. The Kajuan forces, realizing they could no longer win through brute force, began to retreat. But Earth didn't chase them down in a bloodlust for vengeance. Instead, they held their positions, allowing the Kajuan to flee with whatever dignity they had left. Earth's victory was complete, not through overwhelming violence, but through precision, strategy, and a refusal to be broken. The Kajuan, who had underestimated humanity from the start, now realized the truth. Earth had not been a weak, fearful planet. It had been a sleeping giant, ready to defend itself when pushed. And the Kajuan, for all their might, had finally met an enemy that didn't just fight to survive, they fought to win. The Kajuan had been defeated, their once mighty fleet shattered, and their ground forces decimated. But Earth's victory was not marked by the ruthless destruction the galaxy had come to expect from conquerors. Instead, the humans showed restraint. As the Kajuan retreated, battered and broken, the humans made no move to chase them down or eradicate their fleeing ships. They allowed the survivors to return home, carrying with them a simple but unmistakable message: Earth is not to be trifled with. The Galactic Council convened soon after. The tone was drastically different from their previous meeting. Gone was the laughter, the mockery, the smug assumptions about humanity's fear of conflict. Now, there was only silence and a deep sense of humility. Every alien in the room had witnessed what Earth was capable of, and none of them dared to question humanity's place in the galaxy anymore. As the council gathered, a human representative stood before them. Unlike the earlier meetings, there was no need for calm assurances or veiled confidence. The battle had spoken for itself. Still, the representative addressed the room with the same quiet strength they had shown before. "We are not afraid of war," the human began, their voice steady. "But we do not seek it. War, to us, is always the last resort. When peace is an option, we choose it. But when peace is no longer an option, when we are threatened, we will fight with everything we have." The council members listened intently, every word landing with the weight of the battle they had just witnessed. Humanity had not been weak, nor had they been afraid. They had simply chosen a path of restraint, a path that valued peace above all else. But when forced into war, they became something else entirely, something the rest of the galaxy now knew to fear. "We have no desire for conquest or dominance," the human continued. "But make no mistake. If we are threatened, if our existence is challenged, we will not hesitate to defend ourselves. And as you have seen, we will do so with everything at our disposal." The message was clear. Humanity's philosophy was one of peace, but their capacity for war was unmatched when it was necessary. The Council, once so certain of humanity's weakness, now saw them in an entirely new light. As the meeting came to a close, the council members exchanged glances. There was no longer any question of Earth's place in the galactic community. Humanity had earned their respect, not as cowards or pacifists, but as one of the most formidable powers in the galaxy. And from that moment forward, every member of the council would remember the message humanity had delivered: Earth does not fear war, but the galaxy should fear what happens when humans are forced into it.